Welcome to Writing for Beginners. Today we're going to talk about some of the tips I've read over the years on how you should approach your writing, some of the things to avoid. One of those is that it's recommended where you can to avoid similes and metaphors. Now, I must confess that when I started writing, some sentences had 2 or 3 similes in them and a metaphor sometimes. And so I realized after a while that that was not good writing. In some instances, though, I still like a simile. But the idea is if you can, wherever possible, try and reduce the similes and metaphors within your writing. The other thing is that you should read your story out loud. We'll talk more about that in another video, but read it out loud to yourself so it feels honest and genuine, so you really can understand what's going on and that it sounds real, which is the most important point. Editing is another golden rule. Edit, cut, and then cut again. So don't be too precious about some of your words. Now, if you're worried and you've got a first draft, and I probably wouldn't edit until after I've written a first complete draft, I would save a copy of that and then make a copy and edit that copy. So you've always got your original to go back to. But be harsh, edit. You'll find there'll be a lot of words. I remember I brought mine, a book of 75,000 words, down to 50. Now I'm building it back up again using some of the language I'd cut out, but in a different way. So you can certainly save it and bring it back, but by the time you do that, you'll be a different writer, and you will be, believe me. So you will find ways of incorporating that writing without being so long and so long-winded, perhaps, and being able to make it work better within your book. So it's important that you do. The other thing is, the other key point, don't tell the reader everything. Try and lead them along. People talk about breadcrumbs, they talk about many things, but really what you want to do is tease the reader into thinking about what you're saying or what you're writing. So you give them a few details, let them work it out, because then they're invested in your book and they'll stay invested in your book, certainly if you can invest them in the character. So if you've got, let's use the phrase I often use, say you've got talking about an alcoholic. You might hint at that in the beginning of the book until you show something really bad happening because of the alcohol, say later on. But you may just drop some hints about something. So try and lead the reader along without giving them all the information all the way in the beginning of the book. And finally, is the tip that makes all of that seem not so good news. There are no rules. You can break every rule in the book. The rule is that you write for yourself and you write share your story. And if it feels right to you, then it is right. So there is no golden rule, really. The golden rule is to write what you feel. And keep in mind that we wouldn't have different books if everybody followed the same rules. You may write a bestseller that changes the way that the genre you're writing about is written. People will follow you. So the golden rule is to write the way you feel. You can apply some of the other rules, but primarily write the way you feel. But the most important thing, of course, is that you're writing. Happy writing.